With this video, we will be doing BTS solo promotions. If you want to help this channel and the content that we're making, please help support our merchandise, our Patreon, our Discord, and our Twitter. All links are in the description. And if you didn't hit that like button, make sure you hit the like button. Trying to get the channel to grow, and the only way we're going to do this if you like, share, and comment on the content. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Let's go! Chi, get the yayo.
Get the yayo.
Now that all of the BTS members have debuted as solo artists, let's analyze why their projects are also different. It's not only about the different genres and sounds, it's also about the differences in the style of promotions, target audiences, and results. Because this is the reality. A BTS member had a global tour, but another member had one concert at a festival. Another member only had one small venue concert, and another member didn't have any concerts. A BTS member had 3 physical albums, but another member only had 2. Another member only had 1. Another member only had 1 CD with no photo cards, stickers, and other things the other albums got. But another member didn't get a physical album that charts could count when he first debuted. A BTS member had promotions in the US, the UK, and South Korea. But another member only promoted in the US and Korea. Another member promoted in Korea and Japan. And another member barely did any promotions. A BTS member debuted a number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and his song was the number 1 song worldwide for weeks on a row. But another member only debuted a number 1 on the Hot 100. Another member almost entered the top 50, but another only entered the top 100. When you phrase things like this, conflict awaits. Fans complain about unequal support by the label, unequal
Oh, see, we great minds think alike.
Right. Now I must say, although you can hear by those numbers, there is a certain amount that you would question. But then there's a certain amount that it's like people just are drawn to certain people more.
Yeah, but I know some of that's because of COVID.
Yeah, but
it would have been different if it was.
Yeah, there's a lot of different variables.
I don't know if you say that, but the CVID. You know what I'm saying? It would have been different.
It's a lot of different variables, but at the same time, like when you sit back and you think about like strategy and what they pushing into it, you can see why people question certain things.
Right. Sure, about to find out. But I like that she already coming to the seats. Like, you don't even got to worry about what this video about. She just broke it down real quickly. Like, this is what's going on.
And it's one of them, if you know, you know, because she's like, and another member, and another member. Yeah. She's painting a picture, and you know who she's talking about.
But this is information I want to know about. So this is going to be definitely a dope video.
Support by fans, and of course unequal results. But I think these comparisons are unfair and at this point malicious, because if you really think about the intention of each project, you can see the different visions the BTS members had for their solo music careers. If you really want to measure promotion efforts and success, let's talk about how each promotion schedule helped gain the attention of their specific target audiences. And let's also realize that some promotions are actually counterproductive for some members but beneficial for others. You may think I'm crazy, but sometimes a number 1 on the US can hurt an album's chances to be consumed by certain audiences. Of course, other times it can help the project, but it all comes down to the artist's vision and target audience. So I'll try to explain why I don't think any BTS member, song, or album has been sabotaged by Big Hit, HYBE, ARMY, and much less BTS. After analyzing every single piece of promotion, I actually think that every promotion decision has been smart and effective. The member who started the BTS solo era was J-Hope. Like the other members part of the rap line, J-Hope released his first solo project as a mixtape. This is not his official solo debut. Hope World and the other solo mixtapes did not have official promotions, but they were shared on social media by Big Hit.
And that's like the thing. I don't know if it's that way with them, but I know like a lot of people say they'll call it a mixtape. But we came up in the mixtape era. That was when you was using other people's beats.
Right.
Is a mixtape.
Is that on their beat jacking?
If you come out with a whole album that's all original songs, all original beats, that's an album.
That's an album.
It's an album. And if they sold it in the store, it's an album. Mixtapes we had to go by in the streets. Da 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 da.
But see, mixtapes was different because like now Muzz is looking at, are you doing 6 to 8 tracks? You know what I'm saying? Would it classify?
Yeah.
But like mixtape, you might have 37. A side, a B side, you know what I'm saying? You might have 15, 17 tracks for real. So like it was a whole different era, and it was all slammers. Yeah, like for real, had the trunk rattling, block going crazy, like everywhere. It was dope. Right, it was a whole different era.
These type of projects were side projects shared for armies as a gift or as extra free music. This is important to highlight so we can understand why some BTS members do certain promotions and not others. Confused armies and J-Hope solo stands can say that J-Hope's Jack in the Box debut album was sabotaged by Big Hit and Hype because it was released with no physical versions and no performances in Western TV shows or K-pop shows. These three things are
now. That makes zero sense. That makes zero sense. You know what I'm saying?
You think?
To not have physical copies for an album?
Okay, I hear what you're saying then. That makes zero sense.
Tom McDonald just put out an album.
Yeah. You have to have physical copies. I thought you were saying that makes no sense that she's saying, but I was like, no, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, he definitely need, because they know Army support that type of stuff and will buy that type of stuff.
Yeah, tangible.
So it makes zero sense.
Are expected in a regular BTS promotion schedule, but this is J-Hope's solo career. So look at what he did do and conclude what new audience he wanted to attract. For what I can see, J-Hope wants his debut album Jack in the Box to be a long-lasting record listened to not only by...
Do you think it's because they thought after he did that concert, because when I seen the Jack in the Box, I was like, yo, that was hard. Yeah. Do you think it's because they thought maybe it was going to have the concert was going to have a bigger effect on the rollout?
It could have been like, I'm just thinking now because remember he said him and Becky G couldn't perform the song because of the CVID. So I'm thinking like his album came out during CVID, physical copies. They really probably didn't want to deal with all that because of
yeah. Dang.
That's what I'm thinking. That's the only reason why you wouldn't have it. To me, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Armies, but also by global fans of hip-hop. People who are actually interested in hip-hop as a genre.
Oh, J-Hope! He got ambitions to go worldwide.
And J-Hope is not necessarily going to attract this specific audience by performing on K-pop TV shows or American TV shows like Jimmy Fallon and Good Morning America, watched by an older American demographic. Actually, if he did, he will probably lose the specific audience he's trying to attract. For what I can see, he is not interested in the general public listening to the Billboard Hot 100 songs. He prefers promoting to an audience interested in hip-hop no matter the language. This is a tricky audience to target, but I think every decision he made was perfect. To start, J-Hope was the first and only BTS member to launch his album with a listening party. If you pay attention to the artists he invited, you can see that these are mostly indie hip-hop artists. Most of them are not mainstream, but they are respected in the South Korean hip-hop and alternative music scenes. This listening party sets the tone for the rest of his solo promotions. J-Hope's debut solo performance was as a headliner in Lollapalooza 2022 in Chicago. His concert had an audience of over 100,000 people, including armies, the general public, and of course, curious hip-hop fans. This strategy was extremely successful because after the event, there were a lot of hip-hop fans listening to the music of a BTS member for the first time, whether in person or online. This event also gave J-Hope the opportunity.
Was that our video?
That was our video.
Member for the first time, whether in person or...
We the building! Let's get it! Oh, that's dope. I was like, am I bugging?
Lollapalooza. Nah, jet up.
Let's get it.
Online. This event also gave J-Hope the opportunity to meet and then record a song with the artist who inspired his name, J. Cole. This collaboration and his concert at Lollapalooza gave him an attractive image to this specific audience, the type of audience who prefers simple, individual, or one-on-one conversations with no audience and a minimalistic or improvised backstage set. These are the only type of interviews he did, and it was intentional, in my opinion. The only exception was his interview at the Seasons, but this is also very strategic because this is not a K-pop show watched by K-pop fans. Unlike K-pop shows, The Seasons has long interviews with no rehearsed answers by idols doing Aegyo and an ending fairy and performing a choreography with playback. For this same reason, the interviewees, the performances, and the audience watching the show are different. Thanks to this, J-Hope has the freedom to do a more personal performance he wouldn't be able to do on a K-pop TV show. The last thing to note about J-Hope's solo debut is the pace of promotions. He didn't do every interview and performance the first 2 weeks of the album release. This could put his Billboard and Korean charts positions in risk, but that's okay because that was not his goal. He actually performed in Lollapalooza 2 weeks after his album release, and he continued with promotions with months in between each promo. Almost 5 months after the release of the album, he performed at the 2022 Mama, which let him do a unique stage with no choreography. Then, 6 months after his debut, J-Hope performs at Times Square New Year's Eve. 7 months after his debut, he releases and promotes his J-Hope in the Box documentary on Disney Plus and has an interview on a popular YouTube channel. 9 months after the release of his album, he performs and has an interview on The Seasons. As you can see, the promotions are focusing on longevity more than on day one success, so J-Hope's records reflect that. Here comes
They took it back to the old school promotional ways. And what I mean by that, you remember when we was coming up, albums used to come out, artists used to drop them once a year, and they used to promote it for the whole year. You feel what I'm saying? But now this generation is more like popcornish, and within 2 months nobody really want to hear these songs, so you can't promote it for a whole year because people that moved on from the whole project within like 2 weeks.
2 weeks. This is
you know what I'm saying? So
you can't even run movies for a month no more.
yeah, so it was like it was good that he actually had a product that he could move for a whole year.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure he was able to do that for a whole year because he's all around the world. He's not just in one demographic. So you could be over here, over there, over there, over there. You can move around.
And when you're spreading the love and it's hot and people know it's on the move and they know this is about to be their turn, they'll wait. And it, you know what I mean? It's infectious.
But I think that was smart to promote it the whole year. That's smart.
The biggest complaint. When J-Hope released Jack in the Box, the physical album did not come with a physical CD. They came with most small things you would get in a regular BTS physical album and a QR code to listen to the songs on the Weverse Albums app. This code replaced the CD, and for that, it did not count on Western charts like Billboard. Since this was the first time BTS did this and the Weverse Albums app is a new app by HYBE, people accused HYBE of affecting J-Hope's debut numbers, of purposefully sabotaging him just to promote their streaming app. But again, look at...
Yeah, I can see why they would say that.
Took the words out of my mouth. That's what it seems like. You're trying to promote this
because
Weverse.
people was going to get the album anyway.
It was kind of like, it sounded almost like what Jay-Z did with Tidal when he only dropped the album on Tidal first.
But he didn't take a loss because he created.
You feel what I'm saying?
They created, so they made money off of him. It's different.
But it's like, you gotta look at it from both standpoints. We're looking at it from J-Hope, the artist standpoint, but we also gotta look at it from Big Hit or HYBE standpoint because they still have a business to run. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly,
so,
that's what I'm saying.
So you gotta look at it from, I understand.
That's why him and
both
Jay-Z
sides.
is different.
I understand both sides.
Yeah, exactly. You know that's what I'm saying.
Big Hit still got a business they have to run.
Still gotta get their bread. But it's crazy to think that. I can't say they didn't consider.
Yeah, it's
because
like,
they had to think about it.
If we trying to get the Weverse popping or get more people on it, a good way to do it is drop J-Hope album on there. Yeah, so I get the logic and why you did it.
Yeah, you might explain it to the. Because I'm thinking about explaining to the artist. Like, dang, you know what I mean? You got to think about the long haul because you might take the loss on this one, but it still be a gain later once this is popping because they're just gonna run it back.
Right.
And then you got now the eyes is there and you could do this whenever. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, it sucks.
Right.
J-Hope's overall promotions. Every interview or performance was far apart. This doesn't mean that the promotions are bad. Actually, these type of promotions are very common with Western artists because they are less exhausting for both the artist and the audience, and it can improve longevity. It's true that he released his debut album almost exclusively on digital platforms, but 6 months later, he released a well-produced vinyl record, and now, more than a year after the debut week, he released physical albums that count toward the Billboard charts. These are the type of promotions you have when you want your album to be discovered and remembered by fans time and time again over the years, not just the first 2 weeks. This helps with longevity and helps his desired audience, hip-hop listeners, have multiple chances of discovering his music. The unique performances and simple interviews that will be discovered will not disappoint this audience because these are the type of performances and interviews they already enjoy. So the results successfully match the promotions. Next, we have Jin's solo debut single, The Astronaut, which he released as a See You Later song before going to the military. The biggest complaint I've seen about Jin's debut is from solo stans saying that this is not a proper debut because most members had album debuts, but Jin only had a single. The assumption is not that Jin decided to release a single, but that HYBE and even BTS are at fault because Jin said that he wanted to go to the military earlier during the summer, right after the end of the Proof promotions in June. Therefore, according to some people, Jin was forced by the other BTS members and their label to wait until October for their unexpected Busan concert. So he had no choice other than to go to the military on the winter and quickly release The Astronaut after being busy with everything. This gave him only days to promote his song, so there were no interviews in America and no music shows in Korea. He only performed as a guest artist in Coldplay's concert in Argentina. However, you don't need to be a genius to realize that The Astronaut was not made for the general public's consumption. Like Jin said multiple times, he wanted to...
And you know what? I'm just gonna say shout out to Coldplay because she said that like he only performed in Argentina with Coldplay. Right. That was big.
That's historic.
Yeah, it's like it's only Coldplay. Yeah. Like for real, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, and that's I'm about to leave.
I'm about to leave.
To make one song for armies before going to the military. He talked to Chris Martin from Coldplay about the kind of message he wanted to transmit, and Chris Martin produced the song specifically for Jin. This was not meant to be an official debut with a non-army audience in mind. This doesn't mean that it was an abandoned project. The Astronaut is Jin's official debut single and had 2 physical album versions, a music video, a lyric video, a live stadium performance, official merchandise, and even a show of 4 episodes with a vlog style. He also had 5 interviews, 1 by himself, 1 with Suga, and 3 in relaxed, non-serious settings, 2 for YouTube channels and 1 for TV. All of these interviews and shows helped him relax and comfortably talk in his native language about his life and future. So once again, this BTS solo project was successfully recognized by its desired audience, in this case, ARMY. We would have to wait for Jin's solo debut album after his military service to know what kind of music style and new audience he wants to pursue.
Before they get to RM, I just want to say it's actually good that he just dropped 1 song and he left, because it's my understanding it's 18 months. So when they get done dropping these albums they dropping now, he'll be coming home. He better just drop his solo album soon as he come home. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of like works out. It's already, it kind of like works out how people are leaving and coming back. He's gonna be one of the first one back. So time he come out, he could just have that to himself to just drop his solo, All Eyes on You, because there'll be other members will be gone. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? So it'll be more, you could get the full attention, the full everything, and hopefully that'll be good for you.
The only worry with that, because it sounds like a perfect plan, but the only worry is that your music fits the time.
He didn't make it yet, so he's gonna make it when he come back. So you could just figure out that sound.
I thought you were saying like if he had some sound.
Nah, I'm pretty sure if he had songs already, they just would have just dropped them.
But they would release them over the 16th.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying when he come back, you gonna get right into the music, create your album. It seemed like the albums they was doing is like 6 songs, so it's not that long to come up with 6 songs. So I think it'll be dope when he come back.
Mm-hmm.
The next BTS member to officially debut was RM with his album Indigo. What I've seen people saying is that ARMYs did not support RM's debut like we supported the other solo debuts. But once again, pay attention to the type of audience who is actually listening and RM is promoting to. As part of Indigo's promotions, RM accepted only 4 interviews, all of them in the format of a long conversation. These were for the Sex Sense show, hosted by an American interviewer he trusts, the P6 show, hosted by comedians who interview mostly hip-hop artists and who Namjoon is a fan of, Sutrita, hosted by his BTS bandmate Suga, and KBS News, a pretty serious South Korean news show. Namjoon chose these 4 shows wisely, and he made sure ARMYs knew why he really wanted to do these interviews only.
This is the only YouTube promotion for my whole album.
Why? Wow.
I've watched every show. When it comes to interview, what popped up in my mind first was you. I told the label that if I have to interview with somebody, it's gotta be Zach #1.
Brother, thank you. Your kindness and your trust means the world to me.
So why these shows? If you watch these interviews, you can quickly realize he had his album and the album's production process as the main topics of conversation. Most interviewers don't ask RM meaningful questions, and if they do ask important questions about the music, they don't care or they don't understand the answer. Most interviews have superficial conversations.
Do you guys like to dance at your shows? Do you do a lot of dancing?
Mario Lopez.
춤도 좋아하시죠?
AK Slater.
You guys are all
AC
together, but you
Slater.
didn't bring your girlfriends.
When someone knows and recognizes you, do you have to run away?
Do you ever get tired of
It makes sense now, and I'm glad she just did this because she was just talking about how RM only went to like certain places. And it's just, you see like this, when you get asked a bunch of dumb questions, that means people didn't do the research. They don't know who you are, and it seemed like RM does his research because he said I watch everybody. So I know all the shows. Like, you know what I'm
The thing
saying?
that's killing me though is the fact that even the places that he's going, they're all big groupings. And it's not like it's groupings of the same collective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like groupings.
Right.
So he's hitting the right spots. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like they're very strategic with their moves.
You have to be, and I understand it.
each other? You guys ever just
So Namjoon chose people he knew would understand and care about his process of creating music. That was his priority. Indigo is not the general public's favorite type of album, and Namjoon knew that. So if there's a new type of audience he would attract after his official solo debut, it's the type of audience who likes indie, underground music, the type of audience who enjoys discovering unknown artists and who appreciates less mainstream genres like neo-soul, boom bap, urban, city pop, and folk. This is why the only performance he did for American media was for NPR's Tiny Desk concert series. The setting is more personal than most mainstream shows, and a lot of enthusiastic music fans want to discover non-mainstream artists as well as watch popular artists relax in this type of unplugged acoustic setting. So a confident yet vulnerable performer and great lyricist like RM shines the most in this type of settings. This is why instead of having
I think I actually improv to that. Like
What you mean?
on some random saxophone, like
Oh yeah, you did. You
because,
did.
like
yeah,
I was
yeah,
chilling
yeah.
in the crib and I was like, RM got something new, and I just
started playing it.
Yeah, but like that was dope.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was a whole different feel. I had to, my bad, but
I
like,
forgot all about that too.
it was about RM, but I thought about it because I was like, I remember that outfit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dope.
a worldwide tour, he chose to give one concert to an audience of only 200 people. This concert has some of the artists who featured in his album. The list of featured artists is also something not everyone can fully appreciate. Most of the songs part of Indigo have featured artists RM deeply admires. For his neo-soul song, the featured artist is the queen of neo-soul, Erykah Badu. For his funk song, the featured artist is Anderson .Paak, known for his funky style. RM also included artists he admires but aren't as worldwide famous, such as Kim Sa-wol and Cold. This album also has a lot of references to painters and their art pieces such as Young and Still Life. RM's debut album Indigo is for the music fans who care about meaning and art. This is why he chose to have only one physical version of his album instead of the normal two. This, alongside the fact that the physical versions took weeks to be delivered, affected his album sales numbers. But caring too much about that is crazy and shows that you're not paying attention to all the meaning of this project. RM purposefully left all the flashy photo cards, stickers, and photo shoots aside. Instead, he made his physical album some type of art piece. The pages are full of...
It's wild because I'm saying he was getting to the money, but the whole time he wasn't. You always think about the money, but with what he's presenting, he wasn't thinking about the money. He was thinking about creating something
That he wanted to create.
that people would appreciate, that he wanted to create. Like, and when you look at it and when she explains it, it's like he gave them something tangible. They had to wait. They had all this other stuff. They have something they can hold in their hand and be proud of. You know, that's dope.
poems, graphic artwork, and photographs taken by RM. He also released a vinyl record months after the album debut, which, just like the physical album, includes RM's artwork pieces. His third and last performance was at Dia Beacon, a museum in New York with no audience. So of course most people won't get it, but the ones who can perceive and appreciate ARM's passion in this album are the correct people listening and becoming fans. And by all the records ARM was able to achieve with such an experimental album, I can say that his minimalistic yet meaningful promotions have been detected by the right people, ARMYs and music fans who care about stuff like this. Once again, this BTS solo project was successfully recognized by its desired audience. The next BTS member to officially
That's a
debut
banger.
was Jimin with his album Face. Face is a pop
Face is a
album, and
banger.
its promotions
Yes, it
were
was.
a little closer to a regular BTS promotion schedule. Jimin released teasers for the pre-release single Set Me Free Part 2 and the main single Like Crazy, which he released alongside the full album. This schedule is similar to J-Hope's schedule, which also included teasers and a pre-release single before the main single. On the other hand, RM released teasers and music videos for a main single and a follow-up single, as well as a surprise music video for a B-side which became an
that's
OST.
why it was
It's
an
important to
extra
notice
two
differences, because although some
processes
promotions
before
like
you got
Jimin
to
and
the
J-Hope's
release.
are similar
Yeah.
in some aspects,
Well,
that doesn't
missing
mean that they are
something.
targeting the same audiences.
something.
Like I said, J-Hope's album was targeted at a global hip-hop audience, but Jimin's album was targeted at a global pop audience. And for that, promotions in a show like Jimmy Fallon work better. So Jimin was a main guest at the Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, where he had an interview and performed his main single. We also need to highlight that
We did that
Jimin's
reaction, that
interview
was great.
was mostly in English, so he had to practice most of his answers since he doesn't dominate the language. But this decision of taking the challenge of speaking English made sense since Jimin's main single being promoted in America was the English version of Like Crazy,
Right, he had
not
to
the
rock with
original
it.
Korean version. This is also why he performed the English version at the Jimmy Fallon show. Other BTS member will later also attend the Jimmy Fallon show, but his choices will be the complete opposite of Jimin's because his target audience is different. The only other promotion Jimin did for America was a day in the life style of interview for Vogue. Then he started the Korean TV promotions. Like I mentioned, K-pop shows have more superficial interviews and flashy performances, but Jimin's pop songs and difficult choreographies shine the most in these type of settings. J-Hope's Jack in the Box performances don't have choreographies, so they work best in a hip-hop show than in a K-pop show. To still demonstrate a more vulnerable and casual side, Jimin had a lengthy interview at SBS Radio, as well as an interview and performance of a jazz version of Like Crazy in the show Limousine Service. These interviews were not as complicated as RM's interviews, but they were still introspective and personal enough to explain the meaning of his pop album Face in an accessible way to global audiences. As expected, Jimin also went to Suga's show Sutrita. Like Jin and RM, Jimin made a video for a popular YouTube channel, and like Jin, Jimin released 2 physical versions of his album. Finally, Jimin was the first member to release remixes of his main single and to
I wish the world could come to some type of meeting place in understanding Jimin. And I said it like that because I was about to, what I was about to say out my head, I was about to be like, I wish he could speak speak English better so we could understand him. And I think that would be like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really trying to think open-minded nowadays. And I'm like, I wish that we could meet in the middle because he speaks his language very well and he's trying to understand ours. But be real about it. Like, it's a lot of accidentals that make sense to us that they'll be confusing to anybody else. Real talk. But like, I just think it's interesting because the more I hear about him and the more I understand about him as an artist, I'm like, yo, this could really be better if we just met in the middle.
Right.
to have video calls with fans. However, many complain that all of these promotions ended too fast because only 2 weeks after, Suga started promoting his debut album. While I do agree that Face felt like a very short era, I don't really see what else he could have done. Actually, Jimin did more promotions than any other member up until this point. It just all went really fast because Suga had a tour plan, so he had no choice other than releasing his album then. Suga also couldn't have his tour later because his military enlistment date was approaching fast. fast. So it was literally then or never. Still though, Suga's album and type of promotions are very different to Jimin's album and promotions. And if there's any new audiences listening to them for the first time, they won't be the same audiences. I also
like you know what I'm saying. You excited about both albums. You know, Suga about to leave. He
But
dropping the
Jimin
album.
had songs in English. Suga didn't have no songs that was in English.
Yeah, but
So it's
we
a
talking.
difference.
I hear what you're saying
It's a big
about
difference.
the big, the macro. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying as far as like the dedicated
Right.
fan base, you know, the
Right.
core, and because they both got that. And
Right.
I'm like, you know, but you're gonna have people who cross over to both. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And be like, oh, he's leaving. Let me grab his album for sure.
Right.
also think it's even crazier to put Jimin and Suga against each other and compare their promotions when this opportunity gave us a lot of really cool promotion crossovers. I still understand, however, that the Phase era was a little frustrating because since it had some promotions in America, it had success in America, and the American media did not like that. I have a whole video about this problem, but in a few words, Jimin's quote-unquote mistake was not paying for radio and playlisting in streaming platforms, which is illegal and BTS would never. So the sabotage by American media was hard. But again, this has nothing to do with ARMY's efforts, HYBE's efforts, and much less Jimin's efforts. Jimin's schedule was precise, effective, and more than enough. Other complaints appeared when Jungkook had his solo debut, because it looked like he was also promoting for a global pop audience, but he had a wider variety of global promotions. However, I actually believe Jimin and Jungkook's target pop audiences were completely different. I'll talk about Jungkook's debut later, but Jimin's pop style and his new audience that like songs like By Crazy may crossover with the audiences that like these current popular songs by Dua Lipa and Troye Sivan. I know the sound of these songs are not that similar, but I'm just trying to paint a picture. These type of pop songs have a stronger feminine and glamorous element, and they have this disco, house, synth style that it's kind of trendy these days. To put it in BTS terms, both Boy With Love featuring Halsey and Butter featuring Megan Thee Stallion are pop songs, but the general public that likes Boy With Love featuring Halsey is not.
I just want to say, but when you do what JK is doing, right? Because all Jimin's songs was solo.
Right.
What JK is doing, he's combining K-pop and urban with a Lotto and with a Jack Harlow. So he's adding an extra audience on to it.
Yeah.
So even though it's K-pop, it's now more than K-pop because I put Lotto on it.
Exactly.
So,
He went from doing this to doing this.
yeah. Facts.
Always the same general public that likes Butter featuring Megan Thee Stallion. Jimin's solo debut is a little closer to Boy With Love, while Jungkook's solo debut is a little closer to Butter, so their promotions are going to be different. Because Jimin's pop style is friendlier to the general public than the other solo debuts up until this point, like Crazy, 73 Part 2, and the album Phase broke multiple records in mainstream charts and platforms like Billboard, Spotify, and Korean charts. The achievements of other members like J-Hope and RM are different because the promotions were different, because the target audiences were different. So once again, this BTS solo project was successfully recognized by its desired audience. The next BTS member to officially debut was Suga under his alternative alias Augustine with his album D-Day. Suga's promotions were very unique, and it took me days to figure out the promotion strategy and if there was even one, because although D-Day is a hip-hop album, the style of promotions were closer to promotions being done by experienced South Korean artists.
You know what? I'm gonna be real with you. That's wonderful. It's like she's saying, the experienced South Korean artists and all that promotions. But I'm gonna just be real. His promotion was he got swag.
Yeah.
Like straight up. That's how he handled it.
The album was fire.
That's how he handled it. I know I'm putting out a fire album.
The album was fire.
I'm enough.
The music on there sell itself
That's it.
because it's fire.
That's it.
Targeting a non-K-pop Korean demographic. To start, Suga created and became the host of his own show, Sutrita, in which he interviews other South Korean artists while having some drinks. The editing style is dynamic and the conversations are very casual, so the show feels like a combination of the high production of a talk show with the casualness of a podcast. These shows, where the artist is the interviewer, are actually very common among South Korean artists who have been in the industry for a while. This is what I mean by the typical Korean promotion by experienced artists. This is an actual promotion strategy. Weavers Magazine has an article about it. So you may think that Suga is going to adhere to this style of promotions. Well, yes, but no.
I didn't look at this as a promotion, even though I get what she's saying. I looked at it more as like he's trying to figure out his other talents and something he got a passion for that he wanted to try out. I think that he'll keep doing this even when he don't have an album to promote. Because he was actually good at it, and I see why he tried it out. And I was just saying, like, a lot of times when we was doing Run BTS videos on Patreon, he would be the host because it would be 7 members. One person having left out would be him. He was hosting it. So I thought this went right good with what he was already doing, hosting. He was good at it. And I think this is something he would do post-music, is do stuff like this. Right. So I think he just basically just getting his feet wet because it's something that he want to do.
Because he has a dynamic perspective.
Right.
You know, as a performer, as an artist, as a creator, someone who just knows and understands from his visual.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the wonderful thing about music. You don't know everything even when you know a lot of everything.
Right.
Not exactly. Suga seemed comfortable continuing this Korean style of promotions, but he's going to direct it at a global audience. So even if his promotions don't always necessarily align with a global hip-hop audience or an indie audience or a pop audience, it will still bring the attention from different types of global audiences while at the same time giving itself a constant cleanup. So I think Suga's promotion strategy was, if you're open-minded and you like me and my music, good for you. And if you don't, I don't care. I'm serious. You just need to look at everything he's done. First, Suga released his pre-release single, People Part 2, which is a collaboration with IU, a beloved singer in South Korea who also has her own show. As part of the People Part 2 promotions, Suga hosted his own radio show and was a guest star at IU's show a couple of days after the song release. Wow. Both the song and music video are very calm, and I can sense the Korean concept of Han, which is common in South Korean music and BTS songs like Spring Day. The music video even has an ending scene in which Suga explains the sentiment of the song. So although it's hard for this song to be globally successful with the general public because it's not flashy, it doesn't have a choreography, and the explanation scene makes the video too long for mainstream audiences, its message, style, and feature artists work with an older Korean demographic who doesn't necessarily listen to K-pop. While the promotion for People Part 2 is friendlier to this Korean audience, the main single Hegem is friendlier to a global audience. The high-budget music video with a strong storyline immediately got the attention of global hip-hop, K-pop, and even pop audiences. Hegem is a hip-hop song with aggressive and fast-paced raps, which is what most people expect from an Augustine music video. So now Suga has the attention of a South Korean audience and a global audience. But the third single, Amygdala, will focus on his biggest audience only. This song and music video are extremely personal to Suga, and they explain a traumatic event for him. The song's lyrics and theme are painful and explicit, so the music video has an age restriction. While it doesn't feel right for many ARMYs to use this single as part of a promotion schedule with a strategy and a target audience in mind, I think this trilogy of videos can once again get the attention from people who are actually interested in the story Suga is trying to tell. To truly get his music, you need to care enough to go out of your way to find his story, motives, and style of storytelling. This is why, just like J-Hope, Suga decided to also have his own documentary on Disney+. He's basically giving every audience the opportunity to understand him and his music, but if they don't, he won't go out of his way to convince anybody. Just look at his promo activities. The documentary titled Suga Road to D-Day follows Suga on a trip around the world in the search of inspiration for his debut album, and it includes exclusive performances with a live band. Soon after, Suga started his sold-out tour around the US and Asia. Like the rest of his album promotions, this tour felt very raw, personal, and real. He replaced the neat choreographies with performances with a guitar and a piano. So although Suga being a guest at the Tonight Show and even playing a game with Jimmy Fallon may seem like attempts to go mainstream, Suga decided to continue his casual style of promotions and refused to speak English or dance a choreography for mainstream audiences. He still put himself out there and accepted many interviews for different radios in America. But by choosing to speak his native Korean and have a translator on his international interviews, Suga prioritized the meaning of his album and his true personality. So only the ones who are not bothered by reading subtitles will be the right new audience listening to his music. This BTS solo project was successfully recognized by its desired audience. The next BTS member to officially debut was Jungkook with his single 7. Now, up until this point, all of the sounds and styles of the solo works have been pretty predictable. J-Hope has already released hip-hop music. Jin has already released pop-rock music. RM has already released these experimental styles of music. Jimin has already released pop music, and Suga's album is the third part of a project going on for years. But Jungkook's 7 came as a surprise to some ARMYs because it's not something many would expect from BTS. To start, 7 is a pop song of the UK garage genre, and it has two main versions. A clean version about wanting to spend every moment of every day with one's lover, and an explicit version which expresses a more sexual desire. Combine this with Jungkook's commercials as a new ambassador for Calvin Klein and 7's promotional campaign, and you can see a clear new image of Jungkook as an artist. Both versions of the song feature the American rapper Latto, and the music video features the South Korean actress Han Soo-hee as Jungkook's girlfriend. The promotions were focused on 3 countries: the US, the UK, and South Korea. In the US, Jungkook had an interview and performed 7 on the day of its release in New York as part of Good Morning America's summer concert series. He then had interviews with Spotify and radio shows like Odyssey Music, The Elvis Duran Show, Sirius XM, C100 New York, and iHeartRadio. In the UK, Jungkook had an interview and performed on BBC's The One Show and on BBC Radio 1's Live Lunch. In South Korea, Jungkook only performed in the K-pop music show in Gigayu, but that one performance was enough to make Jungkook the most awarded K-pop soloist this year across different K-pop shows. As well, Jungkook released 3 EPs of remixes: the weekday version, the weekend version, and the Alesso remix. The physical CDs were produced by Hype America, and they did not have the regular style of a BTS single album like Jin's The Astronaut, for example. Instead, this CD was a simple CD, more common in the US. This is nothing new. BTS has already released simple CDs, vinyls, and cassettes like this for their US singles. This style of promotions in the US helped Jungkook become the second BTS member to get a #1 song on the Hot 100 as a solo artist. In a few words, Jungkook's promotion schedule included a lot of the activities artists do to make their song go mainstream. However, because the song is explicit, it caters a Western mainstream audience and it doesn't have a profound message like the other BTS solo projects, some people think it's too westernized and that it doesn't feel like a BTS song. While I do agree that 7 is mainly targeted at Western audiences and the general public, why is this surprising or even disappointing to some fans? I think this is happening because sometimes ARMYs don't truly accept BTS as their pop culture image. They see them through their wholesome, family-friendly, philosophical image only. And this can sound very nice, but I think this is the reason why 7 can come as a shock to them. And to be honest, I'm a little tired of this because it's like some ARMYs want BTS to be the artist they want them to be, not the multidimensional artists BTS truly are and want to be recognized as. Because it's always the same.
I started tapping my knees.
What's on your brain?
Nah, because on my brain, I'm like, ARMY could be controlling? Is that what she's implicating?
That was she was
that
saying?
they could be telling the artist what to do? Like,
it's like we all like that about our favorite artist, athlete, You want them to go to the team you want them to go to.
Yeah.
You want them. You get what I'm saying? It's just all
Yeah, I
like.
want them to be Jets.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, I get why everyone's like that. Because everyone is just looking for.
They want what they want when they want it.
That's the best way to put it. I want what I want
when I want it.
That's a good way to put it.
Same story. BTS shows versatility. People say this is not what I expected from them. BTS released DNA, it sounds too Western. BTS released Boy With Love, it sounds too Western and it lacks meaning. BTS released Dynamite, it sounds too Western, it lacks meaning and it's in English.
That's something I like about BTS, and I understand why they do that. And it's kind of like the same reason why we do what we do with our channel. You got to hit all the markets.
Everybody.
You can't just choose one market. I'm just going to keep hitting this one market, or you're not going to keep growing. You got to hit all the markets. And they release different songs to hit different markets. Like we release different videos to hit different markets. You just have to do that to grow. It's just a smart business strategy.
Yeah, it makes sense
to
because
hit different markets.
You could play one CD and it's got a lot of tracks on it, right? Mm-hmm. Song 1 might get you to listen to my whole catalog. Song 5 might get me to listen to your whole catalog.
And it's like majority of our fans is already K-pop fans. So we do another K-pop song. That's the rate of fan base we got. We trying to get more of this United States fan base. So it's the only way to do that. We got to send songs that are made or will grab their ear.
Right. And
Seven will grab the Americans' ear.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Going to.
So you got to think in that way. So I understand why they're doing what they're doing. It
makes sense.
So the K-pop fantasy is broken. BTS released Butter, it sounds too Western, it lacks meaning, it's in English, and they only care about Western success. BTS released Permission to Dance, it sounds too Western, it lacks meaning, it's in English, they only care about Western success, and it was not written by the BTS members. And now Jungkook releases 7, but it sounds too Western, it lacks meaning, it's in English, they only care about Western success, it was not written by a BTS member, and it's too explicit. But like I said a million times already, BTS makes music that attracts completely different audiences, and this is not new at all. Some people say that Jimin's song was also mainstream pop, but at least 2 BTS members were songwriters and it has meaningful lyrics. But it looks like these fans are ignoring the past years of BTS's career. Wasted on Me, Dynamite, Savage Love, Butter, Permission to Dance, and Bad Decisions were targeted at the Western general public. While still releasing the regular hip-hop, pop, and R&B songs, BTS promoted one song with the purpose of being the mainstream song that can actually get recognized in Western media like Billboard and the Grammys. Once again, they do this all the time. While continuing their meaningful Korean discography, BTS has released an English project for Western audiences and a Japanese project for Japanese audiences. So I don't know why this is suddenly a surprise. And Jungkook's
I get everything they doing, and it's like same thing we doing over here. Let's say we drop videos in a day. These videos are not made from one single person to watch all of these videos. It's not even set up for that. It's set up for different demographics to get a video.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with them. We seen them doing all type of stuff with all type of artists. We seen jazz. We seen music with somebody from Saudi Arabia. It's just you're hitting all those markets.
There, just find their frequency and give it to them.
That's it.
global promotion worked. 7 has been the #1 song worldwide for weeks, and I won't be surprised if it's nominated for American award shows. And this makes a lot of sense. Think about BTS's old competition, mainstream hip-hop based duets with explicit lyrics. While it's easy to judge these songs for being too explicit or meaningless, the truth is that this is what the general public listens to, and a song doesn't have to be clean or have multiple layers of meaning to be a good song. Actually, there was one time when an interviewer had the same criticism for one of the songs competing with Dynamite back in 2020, but BTS disagreed with the interviewer and defended the song.
카디비
네.
WAP에게
네.
왜?
네. 반응할
아니 그거 그냥 댄스 챌린지로 유명한 거지 별거 아니에요 노래는
저 얘기는 아니에요.
So just because a song is explicit doesn't mean
Yo, they don't even want to be next to that you talking about them artists and trying to tie them into that. That's your thoughts.
Yeah.
We're going to let it be known that's just your thoughts. That's not how we feel. And I'm glad they said that.
That's respectful. That's respectful. That's the most respectful thing to do.
Right.
Because, you know what I'm saying, people do attach thoughts, especially when you let them ride, like, ha, ha, ha.
Because they say,
kill that right then.
Because they say silence is being complicit.
Exactly. So you got to cut that head off that snake right then. No, that's what you said.
Yeah.
Mean that is bad or dirty.
당신을 엿먹이는 것과 당신을 사랑하는 것은 같은 것이 아닙니다. 서양아지.
You heard what he said?
더티 버전을
Loving
만드는
you
이유는
ain't the
무엇일까?
same
그게 왜
thing.
더티 버전이야? 그게 왜 더티 버전인데? 이유를 설명을 해봐. 이유를 설명을 해봐. explicit 버전인데 그냥 솔직한 거잖아. 뭐 그렇게 느껴졌다면은 뭐 어쩔 수 없지만 어떻게 보면 나이가 몇이냐 내가. 저도 이제 나이가.
You could tell he was tired of it. You feel what I'm saying? I know what he's talking about because it's like when you doing reactions, you in the comment section, you just read it and you get a gauge of everything they saying because it was everything people were saying in the comment section. Some people loved it, some people didn't. Some people liked the explicit version, some people didn't. Some people didn't like the song at all. Some people thought that he shouldn't have did the song. It's just a lot of microcosm of feelings. You feel what I'm saying? But that's a good thing about music. Like every song is not for everybody, and when you put it out, you know that this song is not going to be for everybody. But I'm pretty sure that what that song did was got some people who didn't know who JK was and know who he was. That song also, I heard it on our radio station when I was riding. So I'm pretty sure that's what he was trying to do. And if that's what he was trying to do, mission accomplished.
You know what's crazy? This is random, but it's true in my opinion. I feel like in music, the best music comes when you're not trying to create music for anyone.
Right.
I feel like when you're in a moment,
you cannot create from there.
Exactly. When you're in a moment and you create what is, you're not even creating. It's created.
Right.
It's coming out.
Right.
When you capture that,
then
you've created something.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's dope.
27인데 나이 먹으니까 이렇게 노출이 있는 촬영을 또 하게 되네요. 그런 걸 싫어하는 분들도 계시겠지만
7 is actually the perfect song for today's pop. It has a female rapper as a featured artist, and Jungkook's pop voice makes the song fresh, modern, and the perfect adaptation of the typical modern mainstream song. Despite some people's beliefs, I see the care of a regular BTS project in this song too. It's well produced, polished, and not the typical lazy song done exclusively to fool people into streaming it. Whether Jungkook decides to make a full album in English targeted at a Western audience like Butter, a self-produced Korean album like Map of the Soul 7, or a mix of both like Jimin's Face, I'll support because they are experimenting with their solo careers and finding their personal sound and target audience. So once again, this solo project was successfully recognized by its desired audience. The last BTS member to debut as a solo artist is V with his album Layover. These promotions have started not long ago, but we can already see what kind of audience Taeyong is promoting to. However, complaints by solo stans were out before the album was out. They claim that the label is purposefully not doing any promotions and that Taeyong is doing everything himself by sharing his projects on social media. This idea that HYBE is constantly trying to sabotage the artist that brings them the most money is pretty silly, but it's funny how it's always
the most money.
And that is silly because us being reactors, every day there was V videos coming out.
Yes.
It was always something every day, every other day. They dropped a lot of content behind V album that was heavily promoted with the videos, and I know because I reacted to a lot of them. And it's a lot that I didn't react to, so I know the promotions on that video. They gave him a proper rollout, everything, the push you needed for the album. Because I seen it personally with my own eyes. You know what I'm saying?
I'd like to say, I'm gonna just keep it real.
Give him a Tiny Desk Korea.
Was people looking for it? Was people looking for it? Was people looking for it? Did the numbers say people was looking for it?
Honestly, not really.
Not really.
And I was just seeing it from the reactions I was doing on them that it was, the numbers wasn't there. And just to give you an example, it was like brand new songs he was putting out. They was only getting 4,000. They was only getting 4,000 views in the first 24 hours. And then JK video we just did, 7, was it 7? No. Something just came out. 3D 3D with Jack Harlow. And the first day it did 16,000. So it did 4 times what V did. We dropped something the next day, V 3D live performance, it did 7. But you could just see this disparity in the numbers.
It's visible.
Yes, it is.
The solo fans who complain about favoritism. Just like every BTS solo project, we need to understand and accept that their music is different. Layover is very different to all of the BTS solo projects, so the promotions are going to be very different as well. Just like most of V's music as part of BTS, Layover is R&B with elements of soul and pop. Therefore, the performances and interviews will fit the promotions for an R&B project. So don't focus on every mainstream promotion Taehyung didn't do. Focus on how he is choosing alternative mediums for promotions. To start, Taehyung released 5 different music videos, 1 for each song of the album. This is already huge. The maximum number of music videos a BTS member has released for one album is 3, a pre-release, a main release, and a follow-up. But Taehyung has 2 pre-releases, a main release, and 2 follow-ups. This is a new strategy.
And let's go back to what I was saying. The promotion for this album was there. A lot of content came out just for this album. There's no mistakes about it. Like,
can't even be mad if you say, oh, well, I got 2 extra videos. You had plenty.
Yes.
And the release of each was like bang, 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 bang. You know what I'm saying?
You had
like,
the thing when he met the girl in Army. You had the thing when it was V 20 Seconds. He was going around with the thing on his head singing. They opened up the curtains. They did a lot. The 5 videos. They did a lot. The Tiny Desk Korea.
Yeah.
They did a lot in a short period.
Short period of time.
Strategy that I wanted BTS to try for a while. Think about these popular albums. Their promotions included music videos for multiple of the album's songs. This prolongs the artist's promotion schedule and it helps each song of the album become popular, not just one song or 2. So if we concentrate on these R&B projects' promotion strategy, let's think about every door Taehyung opened for himself by releasing these many music videos. His debut performance was not at a Western show or a K-pop show or a festival. It was on a new Korean music show that slows down chart competition by announcing an artist of the month, not a song of the week, which usually exhausts the artist and the fandoms. This show is also more personal than a festival or a Western TV show. So for this kind of calm album, this debut stage feels right. On K-pop shows, artists normally perform 1 or 2 songs, 3 being the maximum number of performances. But this specific K-pop show let Taehyung perform 4 of his songs at once. Why am I mentioning this? Because the only reason Taehyung was able to perform his entire album on K-pop TV shows was because he released music videos for the entire album. For Inkigayo, he performed the main single Slow Dancing and Rainy Days. For Mnet, he performed Slow Dancing and Love Me Again. For Music Band, he performed Slow Dancing and For Us. And for N-Pop, he performed Slow Dancing, Love Me Again, Rainy Days, and Blue. It's genius. Taehyung was able to promote his entire R&B album on K-pop TV shows. This is the first time an artist has done this successfully. But it doesn't end here. Taehyung did not only choose this new K-pop TV show with less than 60,000 subscribers as an alternative medium. He also was one of the first artists to perform on the new series Tiny Desk Korea. This is a new show part of NPR's Tiny Desk concert series, which features only South Korean artists. But Taehyung's performance was released on both Tiny Desk Korea and NPR's Tiny Desk concert. So he is, in a way, promoting his Korean R&B album to a global audience. Finally, Taehyung became the first member to promote in Japan. This is also very smart because if there's any country with a big market who would listen to an R&B Korean album, is Japan, the second biggest music market in the world. These interviews and performances helped Taehyung show his warm and soulful personality to an audience that is more likely to consume this kind of project. His personality is also reflected on the style of photo shoots and the 3 physical albums he wanted to release. These music videos, teasers, interviews, and media articles are planned, organized, and shared not only by V, but also by HYBE and BTS on all of their social media platforms. If you expect Taehyung to have the numbers of pop releases or the type of promotions of the hip-hop releases, you are crazy because he never intended to promote to those audiences. For an R&B album, Layover is huge, and this BTS solo project is successfully being recognized by its desired audience. Let's not
That's dope because it's like saying they ain't want to just be on some, we want to target people. They was like, we want the people who want to appreciate us. To
People that's gonna consume the music.
Yeah, like if anybody else comes along, cool.
Right.
But we're not aiming at you or you or you or you.
Right.
We're just gonna do what we do.
Right. Pretty much. Smart.
That's dope.
Smart.
forget that although BTS are on their era of solo music, they are still releasing music as a group. After the solo promotions started with J-Hope, BTS promoted their song Run BTS. They released The Planet, an OST song for an animated film, and they released Take 2 as part of their 10th anniversary celebration. Just like every other solo project and group project, these songs have different sounds, so they have different audiences, so they have different promotions. Run BTS is a song that is friendly to K-pop audiences. It's fast-paced, it has a choreography, and it shows a ton of energy. So they released a dance practice, performed it at their Busan concert, and released a lot of TikTok videos.
Definitely a lot of energy.
The Planet is a song for an animated series about a young idol group with superpowers. So the genre is pop and the style is simple but energetic. The music video and promotions are all related to the show, and they have a younger audience in mind. Take 2 is a classical letter song for armies. It was written and produced by BTS members, and it has the classical BTS sound when it comes to slow pop, R&B, ballad songs. Like I mentioned before about V's project, this style of songs actually work pretty well on Japanese audiences. So it debuted at number 6 on the Billboard Japan Hot 100, with no music videos, remixes, or anything. But it's pretty clear that the main audience for this song is ARMY, so it charted well on pretty much every global chart. Basically, every one of these songs had the right promotions for each of their audiences. We need to see the solo projects and their promotions like this too. Maybe for some, this analysis of each solo promotion was unnecessary and obvious, but I had to do it because I received so many messages by armies who don't consider themselves solo stans being confused about why some members had quote-unquote more opportunities than others. Some were genuinely confused by Jungkook's explicit lyrics, RM's minimalistic promotions, and J-Hope's lack of physical albums. So I hope I helped calm the confusion at least a little. Armies need to accept that BTS are real multidimensional artists. They are 7 artists with different visions, styles, and journeys in their music. Of course, their promotion schedules are going to be different. Sure, armies are the main audience listening to their solo projects, but the BTS members are going to perform and accept interviews on the shows that they feel the most comfortable showcasing their music. Don't expect the global BTS style of promotions for every solo project and cry when that doesn't happen. Think about the sound and their personalities individually. Their solo projects align with the solo songs they had on BTS albums, so accept the BTS members as the multidimensional artists they are. Trust them and their decisions, especially in this solo era.
잘 이겨나가고 여러분과 또 행복하게 공연하고 음악 만들고 할 거니까 호석이가 얘기했던 것처럼 부디 믿음을 가져주시길 바라겠습니다. 네.
It's TRE-TV. Let's get it.
This is Lamar Wilson representing Ghetto Action News Network _, all lower cases.
No spaces.
And you can find us on Facebook, and when you do, make sure you smash that like button. Let me get right into this. This is about BTS solo promotions, and you know what I'm saying? I hear some of the arguments, they're convincing, and some are just like, kind of one-sided. Right. When it comes down to it, I think the people gravitate to what they like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? People have their opinions, and you know what I'm saying, opinions, but we're looking at the numbers, and regardless of the time span, they can always go back, things might change, but at this moment, the people have spoken, and I think you just gotta respect that, you know what I'm saying? But everybody's numbers were crazy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like, exactly.
Right.
Global 200, Hot 100, Billboard 100, like, we're not talking about, like, oh my God, I suck, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, I thought this was very informative, and I appreciate the information. I thought it was cool. What do you think about this?
I think it was a dope, well put together video. As always, Bor City. She brought the receipts, gave a lot of information. Some stuff I knew, some stuff I didn't know, and I was glad to find out all the information I did find out, and our perspectives on how we felt about it. We gave it in the video, and overall, I thought she did just a great job of just laying everything out, just letting everybody know where everybody fell at the end of the day with their numbers, but at the end of the day, I get everything that they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense from every level of what they're doing. I understand what they're doing. And when you do a solo artist, as a solo artist, you want to make music that resonates with you. When you're doing music with a band, you're doing music that resonates with the band.
With the collective,
but when you're doing solo music, you're doing more music that you like and what you're into. So I understand what I be getting from the solo albums. That's actually what I want to get from the solo albums, because you can understand somebody more from the solo album and what type of music you like or which type of direction you're trying to go into. You can never figure that out outside of a band. You feel what I'm saying? Like Beyonce sound different than Destiny Child, or Marion sound different than B2K.
Exactly.
Cisco sound different than Drew Hill. You know what I'm saying? There's always a difference, and I understand everything they're doing, how they're trying to grow the market. Why did JK put Lotto and Jack Harlow on the song? To me, it's common sense. He's trying to get on American radio. He's trying to grow over here because you already have this K-pop audience. You're trying to grow. You're trying to grow the audience because you put this American group with this group, and it's a bigger group, and that's what it's all about. So I understand. I get everything that they did. And I thought it was a dope video, and I can't wait till we get it to our next episode. But until then, it's your boy TRE-TV, and I'm out.